I will never forget having this sudden epiphany that utterly changed, I genuinely believe it changed the course of my life. And here's how it came. Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to Twin Talks Ballet. Today I will be opening up the vault of my own mind to share with you a story from my time training to become a professional ballet dancer. I want to share this story specifically to hopefully open your mind to a principle that I learned through experience that totally changed my life, and I think if you apply it, it really will for you as well. So I'm going to get into the story shortly, but before I do, I want to invite you to consider registering for my upcoming free Empowered Dancer Masterclass. So the Empowered Dancer Masterclass, like I announced in my last YouTube video, is a monthly 90-minute meeting where you and I, well, in a group of you dancers, will meet over Zoom, and I will be walking you guys through powerful concepts, frameworks, and practices that I commonly share with mindset coaching clients in order to help you adopt an empowered mindset as a dancer. Now, specifically, every month I'll be walking you through concepts that will allow you to actually excel in areas where most dancers struggle. For example, a lot of us struggle with comparison, not feeling good enough, constant insecurities, anxiety around auditioning and performing because we see it as a time where we have to prove ourselves. And with all of these mental struggles, I see that so many dancers don't get support in that area. So I want to be that support for you guys and offer it freely to you. So the first month of June, we will be hosting our first masterclass, and I wanted to invite you to join for free. Now, this will be included within a 21-day free trial. So after that, if you want to continue on to join the next month's masterclass, all you have to do is keep your account. If you wish to just keep it at the first masterclass, that's your business, and you are invited to cancel your subscription, whatever is best for you. So if you'd like to join this free masterclass, go ahead and click the link down below, and I can't wait to see you there. So this story, what is it? Now, I want to take you back to this time in my life that I felt it was expected to be a struggle. And it is a time of a lot of struggle and a lot of stress and distress for so many dancers, which is their senior year of college as a ballet major. Or maybe for you, it's your senior year of high school, where you're finally going to go out into the ballet world and audition for all these ballet companies and probably get a bunch of rejections or just never hear back. And then maybe at the end of it, discover that your life's dream and your life's work was all for nothing. At least that's how so many dancers think of it. So I want to take you back to that time in my life where I was a senior in college and I had been at the University of Utah for 2 years, and this was my third year. It was at the end of my first semester of my junior year, let's call it senior year, because I graduated a year early. It was December. We were about to enter finals week. We were rehearsing for, I think, a show for the next semester. I don't remember what we were rehearsing for at that time, but I remember that amongst the group of fellow senior dancers, there was so much stress and worry and talk about auditions, and our professors were asking us about our plans, and I could tell that so many of us were really feeling that pressure of it's now or never. And amidst that pressure, so many of us were feeling like, okay, this is it. This is really the last time to be a dancer in training, and now it's time to be a professional or be nothing. I want to take you into the moment where I was about to go into a rehearsal. I'll never forget, I was outside of, I think it was Studio 60. Comment below if you have been to the University of Utah or you dance there and you know what I'm talking about. I was in the hallway, I was warming up for this rehearsal, and I had my hand against the wall and I had my pointe shoes on and I was rolling up and down and I was just getting warmed up and kind of in the zone. And I think I was unusually quiet for me because normally I'm, talking to friends, but I was just kind of to myself and, we're all kind of tired. And I was listening to a group of dancers who were also about to graduate and before that embark on the audition season journey. And I remember kind of looking through the window to look at the rehearsal that was happening in the studio, but also overhearing the talk that was happening again amongst my friends. And I will never forget having this sudden epiphany that utterly changed. I genuinely believe it changed the course of my life. And here's how it came. I was listening to them talk, my friends talk. They were sitting in a group getting their pointe shoes on, and I heard one of them say, ugh, something like, well, spring semester is gonna suck. It's audition season. Ugh, it's gonna be miserable. I remember hearing the words, it's going to suck, and miserable. And I knew these girls, they were my friends. And I remember having this moment where I just looked over and I realized that a lot of the dancers who were talking had never been to a company audition before. And I had this epiphany that came in the form of a question. It was, how do they know it will be miserable if they've never done it before? And when I pondered that question for a moment, and I swear it was just a moment, I realized that I had this sudden, it was kind of like a break in the clouds moment where I realized that these dancers learned to dread this thing they've never experienced because of how the dancers before them talked about it. I thought to myself, it probably will be miserable for them because they decided it now. And I was just kind of like warming up, and I had these thoughts coming to me, like first realizing that it was cultural conditioning that caused my friends to project into the future what their spring semester was going to be like. And having also, I was in the highest level at the University of Utah for all 3 years I was there. And I don't say that to brag. I say what that taught me is as a freshman to then a sophomore, junior, and then a senior, I got to watch senior classmen, upperclassmen, senior dancers, what am I saying? I got to watch groups of them audition and exit every year. And that was such a blessing. I got to see firsthand how some of those dancers took class. I got to see their struggles. I got to hear them talk. I got to be there when they were crying and they were frustrated. And I watched some dancers sink and I watched some dancers swim. And it was always shocking how some of them, it was not surprising who swam. Some we all thought were going to swim, they sank. Some everyone thought were going to sink, they swam. And I realized that it was these dancers' mindsets that was affecting their experience in these auditions. It was affecting how they showed up in every class. It was affecting how either motivated or defeated they felt every day, which affected their practice, which affected their results and their performance and what they put out there at every audition, which then affected who got jobs and who didn't. And it was shocking that some dancers who had all the technique in the world, that everyone thought, oh, you're going to make it, got super defeated senior year. They got discouraged. And I watched them go to 21 auditions to get not much. Then I watched dancers with this confidence about them, this kind of, well, I don't have anything to lose kind of attitude. I watched them get good offers from, small companies, because no, mindset isn't everything. You have to have technique. I'm not saying that. But what I recognized in that moment is how subjective our experience is as dancers, and how the subjective way that we define our experience or how we expect our futures to be, that actually not only affects how we experience what we experience, but it also kind of creates our experience. It creates some results that we get. And in that moment, while I was holding onto the wall, warming up, probably no one knew what was happening in my mind. But that epiphany changed my life. Because you know what? That week, I think we finished up classes. I went home. I came back for the spring semester, and I had decided, no one told me this, but I had decided that audition season was going to be an incredible experience for me. Why? I didn't decide, oh, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get all the jobs and everyone's going to love me and I'm going to be the best one in every audition. No, because I would have understandably been insecure about that, because those are things that you can't put your trust in. I can't put my trust in being the best dancer who shows up, because I don't know who's going to show up. That's out of my control. But I realized what was in my control in that moment is I was going to have fun. I was going to be lighthearted. I was going to trust that the work I put in is good enough for the results that are meant for me. I was going to trust that I was going to perform better if I was feeling better. I was going to trust that the more confidence and playfulness and just openness I have to sharing my gifts and smiling and like really sharing myself, the more I would have the opportunity to be seen by the director who would actually appreciate what I have to offer. And what changed for me is when I just recognized how laughable it is, how subjective our experience is. I realized that I wanted to create an experience that I actually wanted to live. So what happened is I went into class as many days as, is humanly possible. It was nearly every day. I remember feeling inspired. I remember feeling that I could actually be playful with my dancing instead of approaching it from a place of, we're doing this piqué arabesque and we have 2 counts to do it, I have to hold it. Instead, I was going into that with a mindset of, let's see how long I can hold it. I realized that putting so much pressure on myself to be perfect and to finally make it, all that pressure would only make me crumble. It wouldn't make me flourish. It wouldn't open me up to sharing the artistry that I have to give, the personality that I have, what makes me unique, because no, it's not my technique and it's not yours either. And what I did is I thought, how can I make auditions exciting? How can I make them fun so that I actually want to go the next weekend? I'm excited. I'm ready. And I decided every time, I just set a couple of simple intentions. Every single time I went to an audition, I told myself, this is like a vacation. How cool. I get to take a little trip, a little vacation. Wow, in the middle of spring semester of senior year, most students in other majors are just still in their dorm. Huh, wow, how cool. So I was kind of crafting my experience. I thought of it as a vacation. And so then what did I do? Every time I would go, and I'll talk about how I thought about the actual audition, but every time I would go, I set this intention. I'm going to make a new friend every time I go. So what I did is I noticed that since I had done auditions before, which I highly recommend, big tip, before you quote unquote need to get a job, like it's time to graduate and you want to have a traineeship, a second company position, or to be in a company, do a practice round before. You need to get good at auditioning, because it's kind of like taking a test in school. It's not the same as being smart. You have to build the skill of test taking. Same thing for auditions. So what I did is, since I had already done auditions, I knew what to expect. I would visualize myself going. And I remember that one of the most stressful parts of the whole audition was, yes, partially when you didn't know what combination the director was going to teach next, and you would hope it wouldn't be like, the thing that you feel really bad at. But I remember how intimidating it was to walk into these buildings and to see a long line of dancers and everyone would kind of be like sizing each other up. I hated that. I kind of thought, what can I do about that? Taking the experience into my own hands, which you can all do, by the way. I recognize that what I can do is I set an intention to make a friend every time I went. So what I do is I would start a conversation with the dancer in front of me and behind me in the line to get our numbers. I would talk to all the girls who were at my bar. And what it did is I saw it kind of like take some of the walls down. I saw that they kind of looked a little bit more relaxed. Some of them definitely still looked tense and they did not want to talk to me. But I'm like, that's fine. You're not the friend I was supposed to make today. That's fine. So I would always make a friend. And then what I did is after every audition, before I had to catch the plane back, if I had time, I would Google a restaurant that I wanted to go eat at, and I would make it fun. Sometimes I would go by myself, but a lot of times since I would make a friend, I would invite other dancers to come with me, and I would meet another dancer from another state or another part of the world. And it was incredible. Then in the actual audition, I realized that so many dancers in there, almost everyone, is scared. They're not only nervous, they're scared. And they're trying to prove themselves. They're trying to gain approval. They're trying to be accepted. And the mindset shift I made, again, creating my own experience, is I recognize that what I have to give and the kind of advantage I have is I realize we're all kind of playing this game. If everyone is nervous, how can I go the other way? I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be confident. And I know for so many dancers, confidence seems out of reach. It seems like, oh, how do you become confident? It's like this really hard thing. And I recognize for me in that moment, what helped me to have confidence is to actually put my focus on what mattered and to take the unnecessary pressure off. Not only that, but to gain a sense of safety and certainty from recognizing that the only thing I have to lose is from not putting myself out there. So why not just fully share what I have to offer? I know 100% that I'm going to get some no's. I know that I'm not everyone's dancer, and that's fine. But I'm going to look inwards and see, what do I have to give? And I'm going to share it generously. And if I get a no, that's fine. That says nothing about my next audition. That just means the next audition, I'm going to go share my smile, share my personality, share what I'm good at, share what makes me different, which is just me being me, and fully share that, knowing that there will be some girls who have much better technique than me. But that's fine. Good for them. Maybe this company is looking for a person like them, but the person who's looking for me is somewhere else. So I'm going to go find them. You know, and that sort of shift out of desperation into, oh, someone's out there. Yes, I have something to give. And yes, so many of these dancers in here are very talented, but they are hiding beneath nerves. They're very nervous. And so how can I go the other way? And that mindset allowed me to really present myself. I felt like I was literally radiating, and it was such a beautiful thing. And I also felt like I actually got to serve the dancers around me by being this example of calmness. And I just want to circle this back to why and like how this experience came to be. And it was simply from that moment of epiphany that I recognized that we can choose our experience. We don't always choose our circumstances. You know, you can choose your circumstance of going to one Walgreens versus the CVS next door. Or you can choose one school or another if you get 2 acceptance letters. In those moments, we can choose our circumstance. But even if you can't choose your circumstance, you know, for example, I had a knee injury that it was something that happened to me, you know? I didn't choose it, but what I recognized through that experience of not being able to walk and going through losing ballet as I knew it at the time and so much is what I recognize is that when you feel trapped in your circumstances, that's the best time to learn that you can choose your experience. You can choose how you frame what happens to you and where you are. You can actually choose how you interact with your circumstances, and it completely changes not only the way you feel, but who you become, what you learn, what resources you gain, the knowledge, the wisdom that comes from that. You become more instead of less when life gets hard. And I think that's so, so, so powerful. So I hope that this story that I shared with you is equally as impactful for you. I would love to hear in the comments below, what are some moments in your ballet training or career that really changed things for you? I would love, love, love to hear about that. And I'm sure I can be so inspired by what you have to share, and I'm sure other dancers would feel inspired as well. So go ahead and drop that in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe to stick around for next week's video. All right, dancers, I'll see you soon. Bye.